the publicity secretary of the PDP in Edo State. Thank you so much, Chris, for joining us today. Your friend Kasim Afegbua has been dancing here in the studio, has been rejoicing, and I've reminded him that in election jurisprudence, it's not the right time maybe to rejoice until all has been decided and the tone of finality is given by the apex court. Chris, what is the immediate reaction of your party to the election tribunal?
I think we are disappointed, of course. Edo people are disappointed. I've spoken to at least 50 people on what next to do. You see, the election, to those who were in Edo, to those who witnessed it, to those who participated in the election, we know that Aswe Godalo won that election. Now, the Electoral Act is there that guides us and that guided our lawyers and guided everything we did. But the tribunal has said that is not enough. I personally am not a lawyer, so I'm not going to go into the legal part of that. But what I can speak to is the fact that I believe, and my friend Kazim then knows, that they are riding on the stolen mandate.
Congratulate me, Chris Naikare, stop all this your story.
Mr. Naikare, if you can just let's look at it. The position that is being brought forward by the Election Petition Tribunal is as to the fact that the petition by Mr. Aswe Godalo and the PDP lacked merit. Excuse me. And on the basis of the fact that your party and your lawyers dumped the Beavers machine, and you were not able to dump the Beavers machine and some of the evidence on their laps, and you are not able to adduce a proper evidence from whatever you brought to court. You monitored it. Well, why was it that your lawyers failed you, or what happened? Because that is what the justices are saying, the judges were saying, that you were not able to dissect the evidence brought before the tribunal. You just dumped it on their laps.
Well, I don't want to, how will I put it now? I don't want to start arguing or mixing words with the judges that have reached a decision. But it is clear that we did prove our case. All Edo people, all Nigerians know that Aswe Godalo won. We had no problem with the election at the polling units, and we made it abundantly clear. No problems at the polling unit. Where we had problems was at the point of collation, and we had people to speak to that, and they spoke to it eloquently. The INEC documents, CTC given to us, spoke to those things eloquently, and our witnesses spoke to it eloquently. And apart from that, the Electoral Act was clear that wherever there is a CTC, you do not even need a witness to speak to that. But we went a step further and brought witnesses that spoke to those things. But in the wisdom of this election petition tribunal,
Chris, the tribunal says your party brought 19 witnesses, and that the 19 witnesses merely gave ESA evidence during the proceedings. And out of the 765 polling units that the PDP said the result are being challenged, in the 4,519, why was it that you are able to only produce 19 witnesses? What happened? Was it an issue of time, money, or what?
See, it is clear. The Electoral Act is clear. Where you have provided CTC, Electoral Act 13 or 35, I don't know what it is, I'm not a lawyer. Where you have provided this certified copy of results and evidence from those departments or from those units, you don't even need a witness to speak to it, because if INEC is agreeing with you, you don't need a witness to come and validate it. So, so these are things that will be discussed in the next few days before we make our next decision. So, what the tribunal has said, they have spoken to their own level. Luckily, there are one or two other levels to go to, but this seems to be clear. There are decided cases at the Supreme Court. There are one or two other levels to go to, but this seems to be clear. There are decided cases at the Supreme Court that spoke to the fact that Electoral Act, that when you provide CTC, you do not need witnesses to speak to these matters.
Let me ask you, Chris, have you been able to speak with Mr. Aswa Ighodalo?
No, I have not.
What is the position of your party as of this moment? Is it your decision to stop at this level, or you are taking it higher?
We are still studying the judgment that us today. It's just a few hours old. We'll meet, I'm sure, early in the morning tomorrow, and when we look at it and wait for the copies of the judgment, go through it, and then decide on where to go. But I will tell my friend Kazim to be guided. Nigeria, the law is very clear. We are very confident. We are very confident that we were justified to go to court. We are very confident that we won the last election. Such a decision. So we'll look
Mr.
Naikare,
if I may ask you quickly, does the outcome of today, does it come to your party as a shock, or were you expecting that this was going to happen? Because I saw that a lot of the members of your party were alleging that the result was already predetermined based on some online results that were being circulated.
Well, as a party, we did not look at the online result being circulated. It was, from what I read, it was employed by the APC to test the waters. But then we ignored such things. We didn't come to us as a shock. What came to us is that we are surprised. We are disappointed. Those are the words. We are not shocked.
Chris Naikare is the publicity secretary of the PDP in Edo State. And your friend right here, Kasim Afegbua, is jubilating. I hope he will be able to have the stomach to be able to have dinner, because it seems to be all over the moon right here. But I mean, I heard in some of the concerts that the music Joy Is Coming was being played. Maybe just not yet for Kasim to rejoice. Maybe the joy might come to your side at some point.
I can tell you for free, joy is coming. I know people chose that song for PDP, and joy is coming.